Well, thank you everybody for joining today. It's a big milestone for us as we're kind of unveiling the first version 1.0 of our product. That means it's more stable. We've had 5 months in a kind of a beta release phase as we've really built out the back end, the security, and really kind of developed our product to get it to this version 1.0 release. We'll do a quick introduction on our side, and then I'll kind of jump into some of the slides, and we'll get to a demo and then a chance to ask questions, provide some feedback, and kind of open up a discussion. So start, Sean Ely, co-founder of Irys. My background is a technical background. I'm a professional electrical engineer. Worked in the utility space or the energy space for over a decade. So very excited to be working here with Lonnie on our product, Irys.
Yeah, my name is Lonnie Bowling, the other co-founder of Irys, working with Sean. And my background is heavily into controls, data, time series data, industrial applications. I've worked for a number of companies, integrators, different industries, and I'm basically the person that has developed the software that we're going to be looking at. I'm the primary developer, and this has kind of been a vision that I've had for a long time, and I'm finally with Sean together we're working on creating it. So hopefully this will be something that interests people, and we'll get people excited.
Okay, the agenda for today. I just wanted to talk through some of the possibilities with Irys, kind of give a little bit of a preamble before we jump straight into viewing it, seeing some changes Lonnie made in our current release. We'll do a demo. Then I'll highlight so a sneak peek into our kind of upcoming roadmap. We are a small company and we work really fast. So our roadmap is kind of more measured in weeks and months, not months and years. So these things are all kind of coming soon. Then open it up for feedback and questions. At any time, we definitely invite comments, questions, feedback. It's a small group today, so it can be very informal in how we kind of present this. And if there are particular things you want to see more of, we can definitely go deeper. So with this version 1.0 release, some of the things included is we've got navigation. It's quite flexible. You can do a lot of things with that navigation. One of the really nice things about it is if you're familiar with AF kind of asset trees, it's got AF-like navigation capabilities, so you can easily kind of drill down to the particular screen or asset you're looking for. Everything is mobile friendly, so everything that we're going to see today is on a computer, but works just as well, and everything is responsive and adjusts its size and position in order to be friendly on mobile sites. And that's a core kind of design principle we have. And so as we kind of build out those capabilities, everything's going to look just as good on the phone. And then at this point, we are data source agnostic, and so we'll have many data sources in the future. We're starting with the Pi system, and we really have a solid integration with both the Pi server and AF. And so what that means is kind of with a quick install, you can pull in all your AF model into Irys Frame, and the very responsive, near real-time viewing of data. And we've got other kind of nice to have capabilities like being able to search for tags and a solid integration so far. So kind of wanted to bring up what's possible, something to think about. Um, our product's really quite interesting in that we're building it to kind of host, I would call it heterogeneous data. And so we'll be able to display both live data, so say from your Pi or AF server or other kind of time series databases, you can show real-time data, as well as say relational data, kind of transactional data, accounting information, asset information, events. And so going to be able to pull all that kind of heterogeneous data together in one place. You can view it and manage it all there. One of our something that's really nice about our current product is that you can combine different Pi systems together. So say you had 5 or 10 Pi servers, maybe they're in one or multiple networks, different domains. You can view all that data together with Irys without having to go through the complications of the data engineering to move all that data, either Pi to Pi, SQL to SQL type connections to try to map all that data into one server. Well, we can just view it all together, connect to the multiple servers. Another possibility, which is a future possibility, is manual data entry and kind of recording field observations. This is something that's possible with Irys, especially with that mobile-friendly application. You don't have to go into a kind of manual data logger in order to log information. You can do it directly within the UI. If this is something of interest, please kind of speak up and we can talk about it either in this call or afterwards. And then another capability that's coming up is the ability to manage AF event frames and event type data, which will enable the capability of tracking down equipment, especially with that kind of manual data entry. You can log things and track equipment downtime that way.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is we have a Pi system that's running a simulated company that does wind power. There's multiple projects, wind projects with multiple turbines at each site. We have all the information put into a Pi server. We have a AF model built out in the Pi server that would be very typical for this kind of application, this kind of use case. And the data is we're reading in actual wind data from a weather site based on the location of each project, and then we're simulating all the other data that you see. So what we're looking at here is Irys, the front end. This is the dashboarding system. This is typically what people would be using when it comes to the application. So this is end user focus. This is getting information out to the masses within the company. So if you have in this case, energy production with wind is the business of the company. So the general idea behind Irys is to share that information throughout an organization. Anybody that has access to information like this, regardless of what their function is within the company, could benefit from being able to see it, have insight into what's happening with the operation at any given moment. And as Sean was talking about, merging different data sources together into a single view like this becomes extremely powerful also. So you can imagine tying in revenue information to this or weather information into a dashboard like this, and it becomes extremely valuable, providing a lot of context around what's happening. So that's kind of the general idea of what we're trying to do here. We're looking at an overview of the wind farms. Over on the left here, you can see there's. Well, let me turn off. Get this disable the design mode. So anyway, over here you can see we have all our projects. This is the enterprise roll up. We're showing, like total power output from all the projects. This information is all coming from the Pi system via uh, AF analytics and rollups and things like that. So if you have all that built out within Pi, you can just take advantage of it straight away. Uh, and this is just kind of showing a lot of the different design elements that we have. A list view with spark lines, just your normal text and values, and then also bar chart here, KPI indicators. This is a little trend showing power, a bar down here, a bar chart trend, and then another list over here is radial gauges, linear gauges, and then we have a map. So this is most of the visualizations that are available right now within Irys. We will continue to develop more data visualizations as the product um, starts to mature over the years here. And also within each one of these different types of graphic elements, there'll be more and more features and capabilities around them. So within this demo, we won't have time to really get into just even what we have at this point, but just kind of keep in mind that there's a lot of ways that you can organize your information and visualize it. And there's a lot of thought and effort put into all of these components for default configurations so that we're trying to relieve the folks putting together these dashboards from having to make a lot of design decisions, because kind of it'll look nice if you just go with the default stuff, which is mostly what we're seeing here. Within this dashboard, we have a list of projects. So you can see here's like I said, here's the projects, and we have navigation over on the left, and the navigation is we have categories based off of regions. So we have 4 different regions set up here with different projects in the different regions. You can see over here on the map view, kind of how things are laid out. And so there's a few different ways that you can navigate around. As Sean was pointing out, there's a lot of ways that navigation can happen. I'll go ahead and go to this Bear Mountain project. I'll click on this. This will come over to Bear Mountain. There's another dashboard here showing a few items. This is not really a very well developed dashboard yet. We're still kind of working on our demo site, but you can see, you get the idea here that we have a couple of cards with some KPI elements, and here's a list view of all the turbines. Looks like there's 34 of them. From here, if you notice, there's a tab navigation up here. So within this display, there's sub display, so we can come over to turbines and click on that. And here's a visualization of all the turbines, just showing active power with the bar chart. We don't have a lot of power being produced right now at the site. Can come over and look at map. If you wanted to see, like, I think this is just showing the project, but we'll probably list all the turbines here so we could see them all laid out. That would be probably what this map should have. Coming back to the turbines, there's also a way to navigate from kind of any graphic element to somewhere else within the system. So I'm going to click on this turbine 6 here, and that'll come up and bring up turbine 6. So this is a detailed view of the turbine. So we're basically drilled down now from an overview to a project, now to a turbine. And same way, we're looking at a trend here, and it's a couple of KPIs for wind and power. Another example of how navigation can work is that we're back here on the overview page, and in this list view, I have linking set up for each of the projects. So if I go over to see one that's actually producing power, make it a little more interesting. So here's Shepherd's Flat. Look at the turbines. Just 4 turbines here, going to individual turbine, and we can see what's happening within that. So I think this is one of the strengths of this product compared to other competitors like Grafana or Pi Vision, if you're using any of those, is that the navigation that we have here is extremely flexible, and you're able to connect a lot of things together and make it easy for a user to navigate around and look at different aspects, of what's going on and try to figure out, maybe make some decisions around what they should be doing next. Okay, so kind of diving into how does all this happen? How do you put this together, and how do you create a dashboard from scratch? So let's go ahead and come over to uh, let's come over to Irys Frame, which is a website for.
Yeah, it's demo
Oh, there it is.
frame.
There we go.
There you go.
I don't have all my shortcuts showing right now, so.
And to add, in the next couple days, we'll list these sites on our website so that people can view the dashboard, just kind of view our product, especially as things update and change. And if you're interested in edit capabilities in Frame, reach out to me and we can make that happen.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go through the entire process here and just start building out, work on building out something like this overview display. And I don't have, let's say that I just got Irys up and running and connected to my Pi system, and I'm starting out completely fresh. So one of the things that we haven't mentioned yet, but Irys is a cloud native application. So there's no installation or management of web servers or anything like that that's required. Once you sign up to use Irys, we set up an instance. You're completely isolated from other customers. You have your own database for all the configuration information, and the only thing that you have to install is a connector back to your data sources. So in this case, you install a connector on your Pi somewhere in your network that can connect to your Pi system, and that connector creates a secure outbound connection. So you don't have to have inbound connection. You do have to be able to see the internet from the server that you're setting on. But all the ports can be closed. All the inbound ports can be closed. We use WebSockets with OAuth 2.0 client credential workflow security. That just means that it's just secure from server to server using client secrets, certificates, and things like that. So security is definitely built in. We're not going to do security later. Security is built in from the beginning. And yeah, once the connector is connected up to to your instance of Irys, then that system now is available for you to start using. And so the where you start out, typically you'll start out in Irys Frame to kind of get things going. And Irys Frame is if you're familiar with AF, Irys Frame is much like AF in kind of AF inspired what this is. So it'll kind of maybe make a little bit of sense if you are familiar with that. If not, it's just a way for us to manage the configuration and the asset model. So I'm going to come over to an admin feature here, and I'm going to create a new database. This Lonnie demo 1. I'll create a database. So this will just be a blank database, so we really have nothing in here. And then if I come over and I look at our asset model, there's nothing in the asset model. So the first thing that we need to do in order to power a system like this is we have to have all these assets like projects and turbines, these regions, and a roll-up at an enterprise level. So if I come over and let's take a real quick look at our Pi System Explorer just so you can get an idea of what we're what our AF model looks like, so it'll make sense when we're bringing it in. But if we take a look at as our Pi System Explorer, we have an enterprise element, and then here we have our 4 regions, and then within our regions we have our projects, and then within the projects, we have turbines. So very straightforward AF model that we're using here. This is all built off of templates. So if you look at the project here, it's built off a project template. The region, it's built off region template and so forth. And the attributes, if we look at a project and we look at the attributes, you can see that we just have very straightforward attributes here: active power, wind, latitude, longitude, capacity, and the name of the project. That's it. So, but typically you might have 50 or 60 different types of attributes here. So what we're going to do now is, coming back to Irys Frame, is I want to bring in this model. Irys Frame has a concept of nodes. So just to tell you like how a node works, if I come over here and I create an asset, let's just call this a test asset. And I'm going to go ahead and add that. And so now this is an asset, and then under here I can add a field, and I can add different things. Like I could have a name. I could just call this, my pump, and I could save that. And now this field now will be available for us to use within our dashboard. You can also add in different fields, like we can add in a pi point here, and the pi point has a configuration. So let's just say we call this CDT 158, or let's call this our tank level. And I can come over here and I can look for, this is just doing a tag search on the Pi system that we're connected to. So I'll pick CD 158, and I want to save these changes. I want to give it units of, let's say inches, and precision of 1. So it'll be a number. Save those changes, and then now we have this tank level that's associated with this asset. So that just gives you the kind of an idea of how this works. Now, if you don't have an AF model, and you want to you'll want to build some type of model that can that we can use to build the dashboards. If you do have an AF model, then it'd be very quick to do that by just taking advantage of that that model. So I'll go ahead and delete this, and we'll bring in a I'm going to create a node here, and instead of building it manually like I just did, I'm going to add some AF elements. And here I can pick. This is looking at that AF model that we were just looking at. It's reading it, and it's just showing what's within that model. And so you can see it's the same thing that we just looked at. You see there's the 34 turbines and so forth. So what I'd like to do is to bring in some of this model. I don't necessarily want to bring it all in. I think I'm going to bring in we'll bring in Canada. Then we'll bring in I don't want to bring in all my turbines. I think I want to bring in let's just bring in this for now and see what happens. So we can see that we have now the information from our hierarchy, and we have the enterprise element. We brought in the capacity, the active power. This is an AF attribute. This is the data that's reading live from Pi. And you can see these are the rollups, and then we all the way down into the project information, the same thing that we're looking at within AF. All this information was imported, and all these fields and everything was automatically generated. So you can bring in, like here we have, so that's Canada. If I wanted to continue to bring in more of the regions, I could just come over, add some AF elements. I'm going to not bring in all the hierarchy. I'm just going to bring in, a few of the projects here. And let's bring in west, south. Yeah, let's go ahead and import those. So now you can see we have our 4 regions. Within each region, we have our projects, and you know, we can continue to bring in parts of the hierarchy, or you can bring in the whole thing if you want. So now that we have some assets, we want to create. We want to come back here and we want to start creating this. So maybe we can kind of work on this project list that we're looking at here. The first thing I need is I need to have some of this navigation built out over here. And you can see we have an overview uh, as the first item on our display here. So let's go ahead and create an overview display. And to do that, we're gonna break into a different part now of Irys frame, and this is the view configuration. The view configuration is using the same principles as we have with the asset model, except now we're talking about design elements. So if I come over here, I can call something an overview. This would be my dashboard, right? My kind of like my home dashboard. Within here, I'm going to define what this is, and what we're looking at here are these are called tags, and it's the same that we can see over in the asset model where you have enterprise, region, and project. Those were all brought in based off of the template that the AF element was using. We created these tags. In the view side, we already have predefined tags that basically, tell us what kind of element or node that this is going to be. So I want to make this a view, and we're going to go ahead and add that. And then now we essentially have a blank canvas to start working on and putting together our dashboard. If I come back to Irys, I'm going to refresh this. This will automatically connect to the database that I've been working with. And now you can see, okay, we have an overview, but we don't have any elements within this overview. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add a card. So we'll call this let's call this enterprise. And this I call it, so this is going to be a card. So I'm going to go ahead and just type C. I can see I have a card here. And then if I come back and I look at this, I'll refresh it. And now we can see there's a card and the name is enterprise. So if you've been looking closely here, you'll see these little edit buttons that are within Irys View, and that is there's a design mode. Normally, the design mode would be off for end users, but if you're a designer or an admin person, you could turn on design mode. So we enable design mode, and if I come up to the overview and I press the edit, you can see what we have here is essentially like a snippet from Irys frame. We're looking at the same thing. We have the overview node, we have an enterprise card, and then under here we could add more and more elements. And then same way, if we click on the enterprise now, we just see the enterprise node and then whatever is within that, which we don't have anything right now. So you don't necessarily have to work over here from Irys frame, because it could be a little cumbersome to try to design it here and then flip over to view and then to see, okay, well, what happened? So we're going to continue the editing process within the Irys front end, and but just keep in mind, this is just what we're doing is we're just adding to the view configuration as we go along. One other thing I can add here is called projects, and I can call this well, for now, we'll just make it a view, but we may change that later if I get to it. But no, I wanted a view. Okay. And so coming back here, we'll see there's a couple of views. We've got a project view and an overview. So we wanted to let's just do something simple right now and add a KPI element to this to show like the overall power. So I'm going to come into the enterprise node, which is a view. I'm going to add a new node, and this one's going to be called KPI. let's see, we'll call it power, and this is going to be a KPI element. So these are the different visualization elements that are within the system. So do this KPI, and then now it's asking for a value, a mapped value. And if you think about it, if we're going to display a KPI element, we need to have some kind of we need to have data that's going to be pumped into that element. And so coming back to Irys frame, we have this we have an enterprise asset, and then we have this capacity and active power. So what I want to do is I'm going to use this as this enterprise asset. I'm going to point this this entire this entire card, or no, let's do it at the overview level. Let me come back. Yeah. Actually, now let's just do it at the card level. So if I come over here to, there's our KPI element, but it's nothing's in it yet. So let's add a field here. I'm going to add optional field, and this is showing me all the different things that I can add to this card, and one of them is asset name. I'm going to add that in here, and uh, we're going to make it the enterprise asset. So if you think about it, anything that's referencing a field on this asset. So remember, we have capacity and active power. Anything, if we say we want to look at active power, it's going to be based off of that asset that is setting at the higher level. So if we come down, the parent is saying, okay, use the enterprise asset, and down here I want to put the value, I want to put active power in, and save that. Close it out, and we can see, okay, now you can see we have active power that's displayed here. If we go back and look at Irys frame, you can see this is what active power is. It's the same thing here. So now we're getting live data all the way from the Pi system into a dashboard, and we're displaying it on a KPI element. And that's once you kind of get that concept of what I just explained, is how we bring the assets into Irys frame. And then we're going to be mapping various ways. We're going to map these different data visualizations uh, into these components. Then it kind of gets it's fairly straightforward. If I come over here and let's add let's do another thing like call this last 24 hours, and let's make this a trend. And then if I look at optional fields, because I'm not sure, okay, what do I want to trend here? And we already have an asset up here, so I don't really need to define it again. We can just continue to use this asset that's up the hierarchy. So that all looks good. Within a trend, we have call this power, and this is going to be a trend trace. And let's also make this active power. So we're just saying, okay, add a trace to this trend, and that's going to be active power. By default, it's going to be the last day. So we'll go ahead and change that. And then here we've got our trend, but looks pretty small. So let's go ahead and come into our trend and not the trend trace, the trend. Let's add optional field. Let's go ahead and add the width, and let's make this 100%. Actually, I think I want to do the percent width, and we'll make this 100% of the parent container, which is the card. So we'll go ahead and save the changes. So now it's getting a little larger, but I still think it's not great. So I'm going to come into my card here, and I want to change the width of my card, and I'm going to double the size. So I'm going to make it a 2. This is a default width of 1. We can save those changes, and now we've got something larger. This is looking a lot nicer, but I think maybe the last thing I'd want to do is I want to, I think under here, I think on my trend, I want to go ahead and have some like a gradient below it. So I could do let's do a fill and set this to true and save this. See how that looks. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Um, so this is how you can start building out various components and the visualizations that are just all stacked together. The other thing that I wanted to kind of show is some capabilities around some more advanced capabilities. Something that we just added in that we're kind of excited about is a KPI element is great. It's always green, but maybe we don't necessarily want it green all the time. Maybe we'd like to have some kind of states that we could add in, and we could change color based off of, well, how much power are we actually producing? Is green would be like, yeah, we're producing the power we would like, but maybe if there's no power being produced, it would be lower, and we could have thresholds. So I'm going to go ahead and add whoops, let me come up here and edit from here. I'm going to come in and add a optional field. Uh, Uh, let's close this. It's going to be on the KPI. I want to add an optional field, and looks like I don't have it in here yet. So we just added in states. I'm going to add it in manually here. It should have it under optional fields. I'll get that in there. But anyway, I'm going to change this to states as a data type, and I want to change the color. So opening up like this. Now this is we now can add states to our KPI, and I need to give it a formula of some sort. And what I want to do is I just want to do like percent power based off of what our active power is and the overall capacity that we have at the enterprise level. So if you remember back at Irys Frame, we have a capacity, and this is the capacity right here. So if I come in, I can create a simple formula. I'm going to put in curly braces. I'm going to put the field names for the assets. So this is going to be active power, and try not to make any typos here. We want to divide this by capacity, and then we just want to multiply it by 100. So we can save those changes. Let's go ahead and add some states here. I'm going to add a few states. We'll make this if it's less than 20%, then let's go ahead and make this red. If it's not less than 20%, but it's less than 50%, then we'll make it yellow. And then if it's greater than or equal to 50%, then we'll make it green. I'm not sure where we are within the capacity, so we'll see. We'll see what we're in here. Let me close this out. So we're running a little bit low. We're red. If I modified this, so we must be under 20%. So let's say we did 10, and we did a 20 and 20. See where we end up there. See if we get a different color. No, we must be really low. Doesn't seem like we're low though. I get active power capacity times 100 red, greater than red. You guys aren't less than 10%. I was going to say, why are we red? There we go. Now we're green. Okay, so we are greater than 20. I think where we're at, we're probably at like, what are we? 2, 6, we're about 30% maybe. 50%. So we'll do 30 and yeah, 10. I want to get yellow. Less than 10. Less than 30, greater or equal to 30, 60. Sorry, guys. Can't do math. Okay. There we go. Yay, got yellow. So anyway, the nice thing about this is we are introducing formulas. And this is going to be something that we're thinking about using in other places too, like even like a value, putting in a formula instead of necessarily if you didn't just want active power, you wanted something else. We're about 146 right now, so I don't know if I can really go in and show you a lot more with Irys, but um, yeah, I think this is a good place to stop to get feedback and questions and just leave a little bit of time to explore around and look at things.
Yeah, I'll do a quick kind of coming soon, some of the things we're going to be working on, and then we'll open it up for feedback and questions and just general discussion. Share my screen again. So with the kind of KPI and formulas in place, we're going to be in July adding kind of management of data sources. So right now we're connecting to a single kind of Pi system. We'll be adding the capability to connect to multiple Pi systems within the same network with a single connector, or be able to connect with multiple Pi systems across different connectors. And they don't have to be in the same domain. They can be in different domains, different networks. And then that can all be mapped and visualized within Irys. So really nice to be able to pull all that together. We'll be adding, excuse me, adding events. So support for event frames from Pi Asset Framework. And then SQL connector is also in our plans. So we'll be able to model kind of relational data alongside this live data. One of the kind of small but really impactful things is just being able to download your data. So anyone with a Pi system, users who aren't using, say, maybe like data link, or perhaps they're just looking at the visuals, they want to take a look at the data more closely, play around with it in Excel. We'll add the ability to just download data directly from Irys, so you don't have to go to other tools or respond to, say, data requests for specific data. They should be able to just download it directly if it's mapped within Irys. Another item that we plan on working on is around recording field observations. So manual data entry. We've already got mobile-friendly site, but being able to manually enter data into it, very useful if you're taking, say, scientific measurements, environmental data, or other kind of manual things on the floor. Be able to enter that into your system and record it. You don't have to use a third-party tool or another piece of software. And then with the capability of managing and working with event frames and events, one of the use cases we plan on enabling is around tracking down equipment. So in the wind industry, if a wind turbine goes down, that can be over $1,000 per day in lost revenue. For other industries, maybe it's manufacturing, maybe it's millions of dollars a day in lost revenue when the equipment's down. So being able to track any downed equipment, categorize why that equipment is down, very impactful to a business.